If we bet on Sam Houston State today, whether it wins the squad route or not, but if we bet on Sam Houston State today and they don't cover and they don't win, I will buy a Sam Houston State jersey and wear it for a week on stream, looking like a fucking idiot. Yeah, he's a moose shit coach. He's a terrible coach. Get Ron Rivera out of here. I'm not even saying to hand the keys over to Bieniemy yet. All I'm saying is This is not our head coach. This is not a winner. This is not our guy. Listen up. All right, take a little mental screenshot of this one. Boop. Give me the Ravens laying 3. Come on. It's got to be Baltimore must play here. They're winning this game big. It's going to be an under game. They're going to be running the shit out of the ball. And they're going to win this game by 5+, maybe 10+. I mean, if you have to listen to Jameis Winston for advice on the sidelines during a game, that's probably when you got to hang him up and maybe go with a different game plan here, Javon, because if he's seeing something that Derek Carr and the coach aren't, that's an issue to me.
That's just Jimmy Butler activities now. I just don't know if I can click a square and just say, you know what? I'm going to go to the grave with Jimmy Butler today when I see that cut, that profile.
I'm watching them rock, damn. Brand new bag for pro, but I didn't pay for it. I don't like spending that cash because I'm trying to savor it.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Monday, episode 355 piece. As always, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Javon, presented by Pickett Sports. If you guys aren't tracking your bets on Pickett Sports, what are you doing? Do you live under a rock? Grow up. It's 2023, almost 2024, and you're not tracking your bets yet? Figure it out. And you're not buying Sam Houston bowling jerseys and wearing them all week on stream? What do you do? Okay, be more like me. Don't you want to be this guy up here? Looking like he's got a bowling league at 2 p.m. Eastern. He's going to go to after the show. That's how I feel right now in this jersey, Javon. This might be the worst looking jersey that they ever assembled in the history of jerseys.
I don't know if I've seen any worse, but yeah, it looks like a 12U travel baseball tournament. It's waiting to happen.
And I'll tell you what, it looks about as comfy as it looks stylish. Okay, it cannot be less comfy of a jersey. I don't know what material they used to build this thing, but it must have been some, C-level stuff, D-level stuff, not the 18. Sam Houston State. What are we doing, boys? I always keep my promises, and I'll be rocking this Moose Shit jersey all week. I don't know why I said I would do that. Why?
Yeah, you just pulled that one out of left field.
Guess that's how confident I was at the time. Cannot make it up. Chat, we got a lot to talk about today. We don't have a lot of time to be messing around, but we do have time to talk about this Moose Shit jersey and address it for a second. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I made a deal. I said if Sam Houston State didn't win a game a couple weeks ago, I'd buy this disgusting jersey. I mean, look at this fucking thing, dude. And the one time I don't want the camera to follow me. I don't want you guys to see more of this jersey. Look at this thing. What are we doing, Javon? Oh, well, if that doesn't give me enough bet on Sam Houston State, I don't know what will. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. And yeah, it does look like a men's league softball jersey. That would play, chat. I'm with you guys on that one. Let's do the W/L bet recaps from this weekend, Javon. The squad rides could have been better. Not our best work. St. Mary's College on Friday. That was a Moose Shit bet. I'll tell you that much. Oregon State, not so much, but still a loser in the books. I've been seeing shit today like they were supposed to win. They should have won. All the data, all the metrics, all those analytics are saying that Oregon State should have won that game. I don't give a hoot if they should have won the game. They didn't win the game, and they cost me an insurmountable amount of coins. Okay, but luckily,
both
NFL Sunday, Javon, luckily came through. I hope it came through for you as much as it did for me. Very good day yesterday. And the Rams ML squad ride was never in doubt. Ever.
Not for a second.
Unbelievable. Look, I'll tell you what. I saw Geno go down, and I started to get some hope. I'm like, wow. Okay, Geno, who's unbelievable and makes every throw he needs to, is about to be hurt and miss the rest of this game. And then Matt Stafford gets hurt, and I turn the game off. I'm like, fuck this. This is so beats. You're telling me the sports books are going to reward people for betting on the Seahawks in this spot? Guys, if it was that easy, they wouldn't be fucking open. And yeah, sure, Miami lost on Saturday. And yeah, sure, Oregon State lost on Saturday night. Anybody who watched that game knows it should have probably ended a little differently. It didn't, but thank God, Javon, we got right on Sunday and had a pretty good day yesterday on the NFL slate.
I mean, as much as like Miami and Oregon State and a couple of like the sharp lines didn't come through on Saturday, it felt like the exact opposite when it came to yesterday in the NFL. So a little yin and yang there. So we take those.
We take them and we move. It looks like chat's doing the Ron Rivera shit talking for me today, Javon. I might not even need to address it.
Doing it for you.
Sure. Sam Howell, a top QB in the league. Sure. Yeah, that's the one comment I said yesterday that was wrong, and the 100 that were right. So you're going to hold that against me? Okay. Ron Bucks Clam giving out a sub bang to the community. Let's fucking go, Ron. Sure, he can. We got a hype train level 1 on a Monday morning. Ian Air coming in hot with a 1-year sub bang. I'd love to see it. Keep doing what you do, Bookie Crew. Keep doing what you do, Ian. Appreciate the support, my man. We got Boston Sports Store coming in hot with a subby, 22 months of cake And happy birthday, Javon. Yes, Javon, happy birthday, my man.
There we go.
Thanks.
Thanks.
This is a joke that I'd love to see end soon. Falser coming in with a sub bang as well, Javon. 4 minutes ago. Sure. Come back like 2-3, wearing the 4-5. I ain't playing no games. Falser says. Okay, somebody write that one down. We got Skylar coming in hot with a subby as well. Love to see it, boys. The energy is up. The vibes are up on this wonderful Monday morning. The bets were hit yesterday. Let's go over the iffy college football recap from Saturday, Javon, that we did on the show last week. Had some L's, had some W's, had more L's than W's. We both went 2-3. Still cannot believe my Hokies got obliterated like that. So I know the score was closer than it should have been, but that game was embarrassing. I mean, Javon, you want to address the Georgia State and LSU game? What the fuck?
Dude, yeah, I don't even know. Georgia State's offense kind of shut off in the second half, which I guess is kind of what they've done in the past, I guess, couple of games. So not shocking, but yeah, that was a tough one to see. What I really want to bitch about is Arizona State. That one, I started watching that game. Like, they've done this a time or two, like in the past couple of games, because I guess Trenton Bourget, or however you say his name, has been not great. But I watched the game. Usually they have them in like packages. They put Scatabo, the running back, at quarterback. They have Jalen Conyers, who's the tight end. They put him at quarterback for like a play or two here and there. Turn on the game, and then we're in the fourth quarter throwing 30-yard, 40-yard bombs with Scatabo at quarterback. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Like, what? They didn't even like try for a second in that game. I was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Obviously, like, they're Arizona State, so it really doesn't matter what they do at this point. They're out of the season. But first quarter against Oregon, and we're bringing our running back in to throw nuclear missiles the entire drive to our wide receivers. I was like, what the hell was that?
You ever heard that old expression? There's not 32 good NFL QBs in the league, right? There's a QB problem. You heard people say that, right? I say that all the time. You've heard me say. Well, there's an NFL. I mean, there's a football coaching problem. There's just a coaching problem in general. There's not, 150 great D1 coaches. There's just simply not. There's a handful of them, and then there's a fuck ton that are trying to figure it out, just like the rest of us are. Okay. And that coach, I mean, down there taking over that squad after what Herm Edwards didn't do much. Arizona State, not in a great spot, and they did not come through and respect coins this weekend, Javon. South Carolina did. Arizona did. Yep. Love to see that. App State won outright. Any JMU fans in here? Any JMU fans in chat? That one hurts. I'm going to let the results chirp it. I'm not going to roast you guys myself because my Hokies lost to Brennan Armstrong. You guys are fucking lucky. You're lucky. Because if the Hokies won that game last night, I would be standing up right now screaming at you guys. You are blessed today that we stink. JMU, embarrassing loss to App State. Hilarious. Javon, any other comments? Oregon State, late night beef, wet beef, was never the beef?
Wet beef, yeah. We could have wished that the center didn't snap it 40 yards over DJ's head. I would have loved to see how that game ended if that didn't happen.
Yep. I had so many units on that.
You and me both.
Mm-hmm. That was probably my biggest college play this season. Snake. And the units are gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do NFL recaps. These went a little bit better, Javon. Let's clap it up, chat. W's. We had an absolute field day yesterday. I think my plays actually did better than this, but from the NFL, weekend preview that we do every single week, we had a pretty solid day, Javon. A lot of green check marks.
A lot of green.
Sure. I think I went 5-2, I believe, on the slate, Javon. 4-3. We take that every day and twice on Sunday and move. Love to see it.
Yeah.
I did not get to watch the 1 o'clocks because I was boots on ground at the Mooshit Washington Commanders game, which I don't even know if I want to talk about. I don't know if I have the energy or strength to talk about them today, chat. I'm still deciding. But, Javon, I missed a lot of the 1 o'clock games. Good to see Cleveland pulling out a late field goal there. Legacy drive by DTR, people were saying. Pretty good last drive for him to get them in winning position there. Maybe that's why they made the call to put him under center to start that game. Maybe he's a winner. Love it.
Yeah, solid drive. I mean, the Browns defense did what the Browns defense does that entire game, especially when you have Kenny Pickett and that offense on the other side. They were locked down just as you would hope. So, I mean, he did enough for that game. That was huge.
Love to see it there. And then we've got – who else came through? I think my big three yesterday was Cleveland ML, the Rams ML, and then the Broncos ML. I mean, for once, for the first time in a couple of weeks, everything went our way, which was nice to see. It's nice to see the good guys get one out there, folks. It really is. Didn't get Arizona, Houston. Didn't get the DeVito less than touchdown, but I'm pretty sure nobody tailed that because it got taken off the board. Thank God. Javon, the Panthers, I also ended up taking them with you. That was a shit bet, but I still
Yeah.
take that bet any day of the week. And then Sam Howell, you want to talk about Sammy?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that throw?
Yeah.
That
Once
throw
we saw
sums up that game.
Yeah, once we saw, not even that one, the first one earlier in the game, I was like, all right, yeah, this game's about to be fucked.
That's what I'm
Like,
talking about. The bomb that was 10 yards
the
overthrown.
bomb. I thought you were talking about the one at the end of the game, pick six.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to talk about the pick six.
It was a shit throw. The bomb was a shit throw, but it was also a fantastic play. It's like, I gotta tip your cap for that.
Yeah, I had plus 7.5 live. Every dollar that I was about to make on the Browns in the 1 o'clock slate that I sneak nuked, I rolled over onto the Manders, plus 7.5 live. Around the middle of the third quarter, I believe, maybe end of the third. Yeah, I got to watch that one up close. Had great tickets, great seats. You know where they were, Javon? Right in the corner of the end zone where that guy ran in the pick six to end the game and blow that cover.
Hilarious.
So not only did I pay a lot of money to have those nice seats, not only did I have, a nice Jimmy John's box sub spread for me and my friends and my associates to, enjoy the game and fuel up before. Not only did I figure out a bus to get for the squad to go to the game. Spent a lot of money, spent a lot of time getting ready for this game. And then we go there and not only do they lose in just embarrassing fashion that I don't even want to go into, because I think anybody with just one brain cell left could probably say that Ron Rivera should be fired at this point. I don't think I need to really beat a dead horse anymore there. But having to watch that touchdown, that pick six at the end there, it was like getting shot right in the fucking heart. It really was. The Commanders losing, that I'm used to, right? Us losing to the Giants, us getting our hopes up and getting crushed. That I can deal with, Javon. That I'm used to. I'm honestly getting numb to it at this point. It's kind of sad. But the plus 7.5 with the pick six to end the game, are you fucking me? Right in front of my eyeballs. Ran that. He might as well ran up into the seats and gave me the football. That's how close he was, Javon.
Unreal.
Any comments on Sam Howell or the Manders before we stop talking about them, maybe forever?
Yeah, Giants own him. That's just about all you can say. Two times this season now, he's looked pretty ass. So we'll see. We'll see how he looks on Thursday. That'll be an interesting.
It's coaching. It's not even Sam's fault. Sam's a rookie. He doesn't know shit. He's just out there to absolutely huck the football and make plays, and that's what he does, and that's what he did. He made some terrible plays too, which is unfortunate. But he didn't have his fastball yesterday. Is the way to compare in baseball. Sam Howell did not have his fastball yesterday. I don't know, even if we had better play calling, if they would have won. But to be, just thrown around like rag dolls year in, year out against the fucking Giants when their team is just so much worse, it really hurts. It sucks. And it comes down to Ron. Ron, how do you sleep at night knowing that you're ruining millions of people's lives? Fuck you, Ron Rivera. You suck. All right, let's move.
I will say before we wrap it up, in Sam Howell's defense, he did throw 2 picks, but he also didn't fumble 4 or 5 times, whatever it was. So that significantly tilted the game too. What was it? Logan Thomas had 1, Pringle had 1. I think Rodriguez had the big one at the end. Whoever else had 1. I mean, that's like everybody who who is it who they're blaming for that. But there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that are getting a lot of hate for shit that they're just not doing. And I mean that Sam Howell didn't help himself, but the rest of the team was not helping either.
I mean, you turn the ball over 5 times in a game, you're probably not going to win. Somebody put that one on a fucking shirt.
Pretty safe bet.
Why was Rodriguez even in the game? Zay Bully, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Actually, I do know. It's because Gibson was hurt. But I guess that means when B-Rob's cooking, you take him out, you put Rodriguez in. Smart move. All right. We're not going to talk about the Hail Mary lay, which sucked. We're not going to talk about the 5 guys entry. They missed by 1 leg, the first leg of it, and then went on to go perfect and go 4 for 5. That one stung.
Not even just went perfect. It was everything else soared. Everything else was
could have been easier.
We picked what? We had the 2 highest yardages on the slate for wide receivers, damn near. It actually might have been with Tank Dell and Ayuk. This was also hilarious. I have to talk about this too. The Schoonmaker square on Prize Picks. They put that up. We were literally sitting watching the college games Saturday night, like in the living room, like me, Trent, and Shelly. We were just going through trying to make a gob, and I was like, I see this square. Why is it up? I made the whole little tweet about it, and he actually scores the first touchdown, which was hilarious. actually unreal. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I wish I had some of those. I hope I have some of those today. Pretty solid day, though, yesterday, chat. Not going to complain. 5-1 on NFL plays yesterday, and I believe we went 4-3 in the college football slate this week, too. So back-to-back, green weeks in college football and the NFL. Let's keep that moving. Let's keep that grooving. And we got some sub-bangs as well. We got Lenny coming back in hot with another sub-bang. We got Chase Breedlove coming in, giving out a 5-piece. Let's go, Chase.
Let's go.
How we doing, Beast? Chase, get your tickets to the freaking Eagles and Cowboys game in a couple weeks. I'll be down there. I want to link up with you and Booze. Hit the game with us. All right, Chase? I'll be down there in a few. Legit 5 coming in hot with a resub. Let's go, Legit 5. You're legit, Beast. We got One Raised Brow coming in with a sub-bang. Sure. 3 months. Love to see it. New face. Dubs. Javon.
Who are you going to bet in that game? Or who
am I going to bet in the Eagles and Cowboys game?
That just sounds like you're going to root for a tie.
I'll probably bet the under, and I'll bet every single player prop less than. Does that work?
That's just a Crabs Moose Fest game.
Yeah, it is. But I'll tell you what isn't a Moose Fest game. Chiefs and Eagles tonight. And we're going to talk about it, chat. We've got that. We're going to spend a ton of time on talking about prize pick squares, talking about straight bets, the whole 9 yards, you name it. We're going to cover it. Maybe some NHL and NBA plays, Javon. I don't know if you've been scanning the board, but we'll save those for the end if you like anything. And then, of course, chat, the squad ride we will do towards the end of the show. I think for now, we'll hop in and do some college basketball talk, Javon. We have so many games we need to talk about and go into and address. So why not hop right in? We've got games starting right now. We've got games about to end. High Point clapping up on Iona. Respect. Got to tip the cap there. We got Oakland smacking up on Loyola Marymount. We got Siena getting crushed by Central Michigan. And looks like Cal State Fullerton is beating Southern Miss right now by about 15 W's. Got games starting up at 1, Javon. We have games literally all day today. We've got tournaments, neutral sites, chat. This is a weird time in college basketball. A lot of tournaments starting up, a lot of day games, a lot of teams from different conferences playing each other. Always tread lightly around this time. Okay, no 5U sneak nukes in college basketball yet. All right, wait till conference play for that. But definitely make sure we're getting some day game action here because there's going to be games all day, every day this week. We know we have the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, Javon. I'm stoked for CBB all day, every fucking day. Pretty much for the rest of, the winter. To be honest with you, we're going to have day games going on. So especially this week, a lot of tourneys going on, Javon. We don't have to go over every single game today because a lot of them are rat shit, but there is a game starting up in 5 minutes. And I know there's some people in chat probably getting a little itch going on right now, Javon. Anything in Norfolk and FGCU today? I saw the line move up to FGCU, but now it's pulled back a little bit towards Norfolk State. 2 pretty solid basketball programs in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. Norfolk is not exactly returning much, and the fact that I know that is hilarious, but there were a couple guys, especially like inside last year. I would take a couple of their guys because they're just so much bigger and better rebounders than everybody else in their conference. Those guys are gone for the most part this season, so they're replacing a lot. They're pretty young, pretty new team. I don't know if I love the matchup for them against FGCU, so I would have to say I would lean them against the line move there, but if I'm certainly not betting that game.
Okay. And that is more than fair. That is more than fair. Trying to figure out a W background here to get us all situated, but
no goods.
Why don't you just go with the simple guys are here?
We
don't have goods today, Chad, and it shows. Okay, no goods. He's traveling out to Arizona. Can we all give a safe travels to Goots in chat? He deserves it. Dude's been absolutely carrying backpack and BTL, producing it, killing it, but he gets an off day today, rare off day. All right. But yeah, so we're running solo dolo today, chat, but that's, that ain't no problem. Every once in a while, we still got plenty of games to talk about. Any UNC Dubs and Murray State action, Javon?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to lean UNC Wilmington too. Another one that, I really don't care about the game, but I don't want to get involved because UNC Wilmington has looked great to start the season, and not that they've really been playing fantastic competition, but I don't think Murray State really falls into that card. I think defensively, Murray State's just not good enough to hang with them in that game. I don't even know how you say his name. Trezarian White is going to grub in that game. It's like I wouldn't mind. I know somebody was mentioning in the chat, locking him in. I wouldn't mind taking a little stab at some of his squares if he has them up. But yeah, that's kind of the same thing. Same story for me as the other game.
Okay. UNCW, if anybody's been following me for the last couple of years, they know that team is one of my arch nemesis. Nemesi would be plural, I guess, on the hardwood in CBB. Yeah. That team owned me. I think 2 years ago it was, Javon. Even last year, too. They were stealing my coins. Drake and SF Austin. That's probably the best mid-major game starting up in the next couple of hours, Javon. We've got Tucker DeVries, who's back for his senior season. He will be in the NBA, whether it's for a quick cup of coffee in the G League or Summer League, or whether it's, him continuing to develop his game and his shot as a big man who can move and dribble a little bit. Either way, all that matters is his matchup tonight against SF Austin, and he's probably going to dominate like he does in every single game against the mid-majors. But I wouldn't mind taking a stab here at SF Austin on the spread here, getting 3 points, Javon, on a neutral site in this tourney today. Game starts up in 30 minutes. Any opinions on Drake and SF Austin?
I'm not really sure of the trends of some of these neutral sites of like what courts, I guess, because a lot of these are new. Which ones like produce good overs or whichever has like the most favorable shooting background. But the total, it moved up a little bit, but it's catching my eye being as low as it is. Like I know you get a lot of respect for Drake defensively because the last couple of years, what they've done is just be a super slow-paced team. And they've locked in on the defensive end, but they've been scoring this year and so far. And I know it's only been a couple games. They've been scoring, not playing fantastic defense either. And we've seen a lot of these totals kind of reflect that. And now against the Stephen F. Austin team, who's kind of done the same thing, we're seeing a lot of their games end up at, 160 plus the last handful of times. I mean, I'm looking at their last couple of games, 156, 162, if I did the math right. Seeing this at 145.5 with both of these teams, the way they're playing offensively really looks strange to me. So I would not be surprised to see both of these teams lock in defensively and we see like a low scoring battle like we're kind of accustomed to seeing with both of these teams.
That's fair. I don't love that the total is moving up, I will say.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's just like opening at 143.5 seems criminal to me. So it's either going to be the easiest over ever or not even sniff the total and go under.
I see what you're saying. I mean, you look at what both these teams have done in the last week or so. I mean, they've been putting up 80, 90 points a game.
Yeah.
So now, to be fair, they haven't been playing anybody, right? So they've been smacking teams and putting up hell points and blowouts. But
things they've been giving it up too, which is my thing. Like it's not like they're winning by 30 every game. It's like
right.
I mean, Drake went and they gave up 77, damn near 80 to Oakland. They gave up 70 to Lipscomb, who can't really score. Stephen F. Austin came and they had like a regular Stephen F. Austin game against Middle Tennessee at the beginning of the year, but they gave up 70 to Northwestern State, 76 to Loyola Marymount. So it's not like the defenses have really impressed.
Sure. Ref's on it. Let's fucking go, Ref. W's. We got Jangus coming in here, dropping Roanoke College, new head coaches for their football program. Jangus, why are you following Roanoke College? And yeah, I knew that. I saw a picture of Frank Beamer's old ass there supporting his buddy. He used to be an assistant coach at Tech. So there's some Southwest Virginia news for you guys that you definitely didn't need. Call me Jangus. Please tell me in chat that you went to Roanoke, and that's why you're dropping that in chat. Because if you're not and you're just a fan, I'm going to be a little questioned here. All right, you live in Roanoke. You get a pass, Jangus. Go Hokies. All right. Javon, any plays in the Milwaukee and Stetson game? I'm good on that.
God, no. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Hey, we got a real game, though, here coming up that I like to talk about. Tennessee and Syracuse, Javon. Tennessee. Don't let them get hot. It might be too late. Honestly, both these teams undefeated, but we haven't seen Syracuse cover a game yet. Tennessee, on the other hand, has covered 2 of their first 3 games this season. They've been putting up points. I don't think this team is typically an 80-point offense, but they've been going against, not the best defenses ever in Wofford and Tennessee Tech, but they did put up an 80 burger against Wisconsin, which honestly impressed the heck out of me. You look over what Syracuse has been doing, Javon. We know they don't have Boeheim. They got a new coach, new system. They're not running that stupid zone anymore. But they have some nice pieces on that team who transferred in and a lot of talent on that squad, but they're trying to piece it together and figure out how to make it work and figure out those rotations still. I feel like they've won all 3 of their games this season. They've played 3 terrible squads. Colgate's okay, I guess, but They haven't really played anybody yet, and they have yet to cover. All of their games have been weird. All of their games have been close, even against guys like New Hampshire and Canisius. Canisius, at one point, I thought was going to win that game outright. Syracuse has the talent. I still feel like their new coach and their new squads is figuring it out, and seeing Tennessee now back up to 13. Although they're 12.5 here on the Green Book, they are 13 some other places. I personally wanted to lay it with Tennessee, but I'm seeing some people that I trust on Syracuse with the points, maybe trying to buy low on that program who is yet to cover. Probably a stay out spot for me, but gun to my head, I'm going to lay with the Volunteers here, who I think their defense locks in for the first time this season. Maybe they don't put up another 80 piece against Syracuse, but it wouldn't shock me if they did with that total up 3.5 points.
Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth with this game because I think at like one point I kind of want to buy Syracuse. They haven't been good against very inferior competition, or what at least on paper should be very inferior competition to this point. Won the games, not by much. And Tennessee's looked fantastic, but I mean, 12.5 with even the talent that Syracuse still has on that roster feels, I don't know, feel too comfortable taking that bet. So I think I want to probably stay off in this game. I still lean Syracuse. It's just I have trouble consistently betting on Syracuse because realistically, I mean, you have a guy in that lineup. It's really, you need them to keep this game close. You need them to have like a breakout performance from one or two guys. They always have the one guy, whether it's last game against Colgate, it was Chris Bell. Judah Mintz has been incredible to kind of start the year. So it could be any one of them. It's just this Tennessee defense at some point, I think, is going to start to look like the Tennessee defense we expect. They haven't looked great because they're really pushing the tempo offensively so far this year. But this is a little neutral court game, again, in Hawaii, not in Maui, where every game there has been pretty much auto over. They're playing in Hawaii's gym, which is a little different. So I really don't want to trust the Syracuse team in this spot.
Okay. Gun to your head, you're leaning Tennessee too, huh?
Gun to my head, I'm leaning Syracuse. It's just I don't want to play it because, I mean, it seems like on paper a little bit of a disrespectful number, even though they've been pretty mid to start the year as bigger favorites. And I guess, I don't know, I still have it in my head, this team from last year. I know we've seen a much improved Tennessee offense, but we haven't really seen them just blow away a lot of good teams to this point. So, I don't think Syracuse is a great team, very obviously, but I don't know. A neutral court, 12.5 seems like a lot to me.
Okay. I'm with you. That's why I wanted to lay it, but I'm probably going to stay off. Joshy, I would stay off that first half under. I think it's kind of weird that total's moving up, and these offenses have surprisingly looked great, although it could be a decent sell high spot on the Tennessee offense here. Maybe if we think they're going to win with defense and clamp up Syracuse has been very inconsistent. I don't have the stones to do it, Joshy. I'd probably just stay off that, and let's see how, mid this Tennessee defense really is. Maybe they have made the move and switched and focused more on their offense this season. Maybe the move with Dalton Newt coming in has shifted, what their coach's goals are this year, and they're not just relying on that defense completely. But it's only 3 games, right? We're only 3 games in. We need to still feel this team out. I'm not confident enough to lay a bet in that game. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving, Javon. A ton of games. If I skip any that you want to talk about, please let me know. All right. Yeah. I've got one right here, and it's not Louisville, Indiana. Fuck that game. It's Purdue and Gonzaga. Javon, I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the Zags in this spot. They must be having some recency bias floating around in their head with how good that team's been. Have we seen enough out of Gonzaga this season to think that they're worth, grabbing them on +5 against Purdue and Zach Edey's behemoth ass? I don't think so. Personally, I think it's a little bit of a fake sharp spot here for Gonzaga, and I think that name is carrying a little bit of weight, and I think that's why we're seeing the spread move up from 3.5 to 5. I want to lay it here with Purdue, and I didn't think I'd be talking about that or saying that, but I kind of want to lay it with the Boilermakers here. I love Graham Ike, but I don't know how ready he is, and I don't know how capable he is of slowing down Zach Edey, Javon. We saw Graham Ike 2 years ago at Wyoming. Whenever he'd go against the big centers in the Mountain West, he low-key would get bitched around a little bit. When he'd go against Mensa at San Diego State, he would literally take his lunch money and run. Zach Edey's twice that guy's size. It's going to get ugly. I personally think that Gonzaga's fake sharp here, and I'm going to lay with Purdue on a neutral site in this tourney. It should be an electric game, one of the best games, if not the best game of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I don't know if I'm there with Purdue, though, to be honest with you. The problem with Purdue that rings in the back of my head, like partially from last year, but really this year we haven't seen that big of a jump as just any sort of like consistency in the backcourt. Like I like Braden Smith. He's probably the most consistent option that they have because I really would not put Fletcher Lawyer in that conversation. But Braden Smith is the guy for them. And to beat Gonzaga, you have to consistently, rim run off the pick and roll and then obviously feed Zach Edey. But you have two guys that I think can hang with him in the paint for Gonzaga. I don't know that they'll be able to contain him exactly, but it's not going to be smooth sailing, I don't think, for Zach Edey today when he's going up against, Braden Huff. I guess you could throw not just Graham Ike, but Anton Watson, who's able to switch too. He's a little small, but I think he's a little more athletic and able to hang with him too there. I just think they're going to throw a variety of looks at Zach Edey. So, while I still think he gets his in that game, I don't think it's going to be at a consistent level enough for me to not believe in the Zags to keep it close, especially when I just can't trust the Purdue backcourt yet. I need to see more from them. And they have a pretty favorable matchup against a Zags team that we've seen, year in, year out, not be great at defending on the perimeter. But I think this is honestly the best iteration of the Zags perimeter defense that we've seen in the last couple of years. So,
wow.
I'm interested to see how it plays out. But I would have to lean the Zags here.
Yeah. I know Fletcher Lawyer is very inconsistent, but when he's playing well, that kid can win that squad a game against anybody. Let's hope it's tonight for my sake. Yeah. And we know his brother is one of the worst college basketball players ever. Those are two things we know, Javon. The brotherly Super Bowl. I freaking bet. Don't worry, Trent. We'll be talking about it. And yes, Zach Wilson, rumor has it, Javon, he's out of here. Smell you later. Yep. There it goes. See ya. Zach Wilson, you've lost your job because you stink at it. Not really surprised. Think we all saw this one coming. How about the Bills laying 7 up to 8.5 yesterday, rolling and taking care of business? If only there was somebody who came on and talked about that all week, about the Bills bouncing back and rolling and destroying the Jets, and then going on their little revenge tour, giving everybody the middle finger on their way to the playoffs. We're witnessing phase 1 complete. You're going to continue to see this Bills team shine the rest of the year. Everybody who said the Bills stink, and I'm a bozo, you're going to be eating your words, boys. All right? Just like I eat my words talking about Sam Howell being Patrick Mahomes. All right? We'll be in the same boat. And yeah, Devin, I still cannot believe Danny DeVito walked on that field and beat us yesterday. Unbelievable, dude.
Looked like Montana.
He looked great. And that's not even a him thing. It's an our defense thing. What the fuck does Jack Del Rio do?
Lord knows. Lord knows. I
don't know. Nobody knows. What the fuck did these coaches do? Are they grabbing ass just waiting for the call?
Probably. Looks like they gotta be.
It looks like they are with the play. It looks like they are. Those guys are the worst. Any Louisville and Indiana looks?
No, I mean, I definitely lean Indiana in that game. I think this is a pretty tough spot to back Louisville in after coming off a big emotional game that they really should have won. Not really any credit to them. Texas is bad, and that's a whole nother conversation that maybe we can have when we get to that game a little bit later. But yeah, I would love to buy Indiana in this spot. It's just such a I don't really feel like watching that game.
Okay. Yeah, Godsynth. I didn't really do steamed crabs today because I literally want to stick my head through my monitor as hard as I can every time I think about that team right now. So for my own safety, I'm going to postpone the steamed crabs to tomorrow. But I've been bitching about the Commanders enough today. You can add that together and call that the steamed crabs. I'm so with you, John, in this spot, though. No chance I'm backing Louisville in this spot. I think they're fake sharp, especially after almost beating Texas in that last one. I'm with you. No Marshall plays today, right?
Yeah, no Marshall plays.
Their team's dead. Gates, I need you to pull up the JQ Krusty Krab video. We don't have Gates today, Trent, unfortunately, but if you want to send me whatever you're trying to pull up.
Trent is obsessed with that video. It's so funny.
Send it our way. Text it to me. Send it to me. We'll get that puppy up there. Javon, Florida State, UNLV.
Yes.
Rumor has it you might have a play in this puppy. What are you thinking?
I like the Noles,
okay.
which To be honest with you, looking at it initially, I thought it was a little short. I mean, UNLV has been pretty pissed to start the year. 2-1, 2 of the wins are not really impressive against Pepperdine and Stetson, but they got murdered outright at home by UNLV. And Florida State just got killed by Florida, 20, huge rivalry game. They kind of flopped. Their defense is bad, but their defense is big and athletic. And the problem with UNLV of why UNLV is going to be like an interesting team to bet because they're going to play down to certain competition like Southern when they match up pretty poorly. UNLV, they have like carbon copies of the same exact player. And the same exact player is guys who really can't shoot. They're like athletic fours. Like they have Jalen Hill, who came over from Oklahoma, who does kind of the same thing that, Isaiah Cottrell can do, the same thing that like a Luis Rodriguez can do. They're just driving to the rim and trying to be bigger, faster, stronger than anybody defensively and just out hustle them out. I don't know, just be better than them at the rim. They're not going to beat you with like any type of skill or any type of shooting over the top, which is a problem against FSU's defense that is not necessarily the greatest defense in the world, but they're going to make them look better because they are long and athletic enough to hang with them. So like basically UNLV, the way they have to win is they have to be bigger than teams. And FSU is a team that you definitely cannot do that against because they have length at 1 through the 5. So like I think FSU is going to dominate on the defensive end, which what does that really mean for FSU? I don't know. It's not like they're going to go out and hold them to 50, but it's going to be key possessions of the game where like you're going to be going to Jalen Hill to drive in the paint and you're going to be met with guys that he can't shoot over for the first time all this season and things like that for the rest of that front court and back court. So I think it's going to be a problem for UNLV today.
Yeah, FSU has literally 5 Jonathan Isaacs out there running around, and
they do.
That's what Coach Hamilton likes.
Yeah.
They might not have as much shooting talent or skill as some of Coach Hamilton's rosters have had in years past with that size, but that's what the Seminoles do. Okay, they build big-ass teams who are athletic as fuck, in great shape, and they're never going to get tired with you, and they will run the floor, and they will trap you and play good defense, and they will just outsize you straight up. UNLV today, they are in trouble. I love seeing this spread. Honestly, I love seeing Florida State open up a favorite. That's all I needed to see to check a box there and be willing to take them today, Javon. The line move to 3.5, 4 is just a bonus at this point. And we are seeing some 3.5s popping up, which is a good sign. Not yet on the green book yet. We'll see. But
this could be a huge first of all, I think you're going to see the shooters look a little better. They haven't had many open looks this season, which has been a problem, especially like against Florida, which gladly we took a stab at Florida in that game. And it was great, but weren't shooting many great shots. I think they're going to have a lot of great shots today. So, Darren Green is either going 1 for 15 or 6 for 9 from 3. It's really no in between with that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those really good performances from him. And like Baba Miller, I think is going to feast too. He is one of the guys on the inside that is certainly bigger, faster, stronger than a lot of the UNLV guys.
You don't think that's when you pull out the old nickname? Maybe go by something else when you're pulling up to college, when you're rolling with Baba?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Maybe pull the middle name out.
What are you going to do, man?
You sound like a baby sheep. Baba. That's the name you're rolling with? You can't go with your middle name, brother? Come on. That's what I would do. Or I'd walk over to the court and I'd change it. Baba. That's the guy we're betting on today, Javon? Fuck.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, Baba Miller is actually decent, and we need him to play well today. Okay.
Yeah, he's a beast.
We're going to need him to play well. You going back to the Tarleton boys today?
I really don't want to. I don't want to. Austin Peay is an interesting team, partially because I'm very familiar with a bunch of their players because they are just literally half their team comes from Northwestern State from last season. DeMarcus Sharp, Javonte Black, they're all on the team, and they're really the entire scoring options for the team. So they're another team that's either super hot or super cold, and Tarleton is going to make you shoot for the most part. And if they can shoot, they're going to be pretty successful. And I wouldn't be surprised if today is the day for them on the perimeter. So I kind of lean Austin Peay there, but I really don't want to fade Tarleton.
All right, Chad. Javon's 10U sneak nuke whale that we all have to tell Austin Peay. ML today. Keep the points.
Sure.
Chad is begging for an early 2-man in CBB. Is there any chance we'd be able to throw one of those puppies together? Is that feasible?
In what games?
Maybe we take a. Is there any Drake squares up?
Yeah, there is. Tucker
Okay.
DeVries and Aiden Wright.
Okay. They got any SF Austin squares up?
I think they do. They have just one.
Okay.
And I don't know that you're going to want to take that one.
All right. Well, we can take a peep. Why not us? Let's take a look at what we're rolling with here in CBB chat. I know it's like a holiday this week, and today you wake up, there's fucking games already on at halftime. It's crazy. Let's take a peep at some of these. Okay. I'm not trying to force our guy Tuck here, but he is an NBA player, and he's probably going to get 18 points, probably going to get 20 points. Might just be a little too square for me, though, Coach.
Yeah. That could be a little bit of an issue.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not really well rehearsed in who this gentleman is. I wish I was. And I'll give somebody $1,000 if they can pronounce his first name. What a name. Holy smokes. Maybe we go Vescovy threes. Maybe he starts to get going, Javon. We buy low on him against that new shit man. Maybe Vescovy starts to get going here.
Could see that.
He's had a really tough time early on this season.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm definitely scared going to him in a neutral court to get going. It's a tough spot.
Could fade Reese.
That seems like a spite play.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're right. Caught me red-handed. Not gonna lie. Judah, 17. Jesus. I mean, it's greened out, but it's probably still going to smack. I mean, who else is really going to be calling the shots with the ball in their hand at all times on that team? Dalton Newt.
Yeah.
Not really a guy who's going to be creating the offense as much as a guy like Judah.
Dude, I mean, look at those squares.
I know, dude. It's sketchy. It's sketchy, dude. It's sketch. It is. JJ. The real J Jettis. Familiar name. People forget. I'm not really in a rush to take him. The Vescovy square is interesting. I mean, I know you probably don't want to buy low, and I know we heard some things in the offseason where maybe this isn't the guy we want to be targeting because he's just not locked and there's some stuff going on in his personal life. But we know he's a better player than what we've seen out of Vescovy recently. He's supposed to be their guy, their shooter, their main scorer. Maybe he's taken a back seat with Dalton Newtown, and that's cost him in his game. Maybe it's thrown him off. Maybe he does have shit going on off the court. But I see Vescovy picking it up a little bit here down the stretch and being a much better scorer than what we've seen in recent weeks. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is not him. This is not Vescovy.
See, I would feel so much better about it if this was zone defense Syracuse. But I hate that it isn't really anymore.
Okay. Yeah, does SMU have a big center?
No.
I know we haven't talked about that game
Edwards
yet.
Edwards is going to grub. I was going to bring that up later because that's a later game. So I think the board for the later games is significantly better than the ones that are starting up now. But
it is, dude. These games all stink today.
Yeah. Plus, they're like a couple of these are like weird. I don't know if I expect points from these offenses that have put up points the entire season so far. Like the Syracuse-Tennessee game or the Drake game. It's weird spots. But yeah, for Jesse Edwards, ain't nobody stopping him tonight.
Yeah, I don't really want to force in the early games.
Yeah, we don't need to there, unless I guess the only game that I would consider putting something in is the Indiana side of things.
Okay. We can go over there and take a little peep, but I'm done looking at EK squares. Let's see. The Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Anybody in particular?
I mean, I would like something inside, whether it's Khalil Ware or Malik Renault, one of those two.
Okay.
They don't want us to be great. That should be the sign right there. That's the square. That's
Yeah, dude. What the? Might have to lock this one in anyways.
This is points.
Malik. Khalil Ware is a fucking beast.
He is. I hate trusting him though. He's so frustrating to watch sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, Chad, I think we're just not going to force. Devin Makes Music is right.
Yeah. I will say, though, that like 4-ish spot against Louisville has been troublesome for them in like every single game they've played. Like last night, Caden Shedrick was literally Shaq, and they're playing him at the 4 with like a little Dylan Mitchell at the 5 sometimes. Cunningham, I think, played the 5 when they went small ball too, and they were just toasting them. It's like I wouldn't be shocked if it's just Malik feasting.
Interesting.
Depending on where they put him and I don't know, Mbaka or whatever his name is.
Okay. All right. Let's keep moving here. Let's finish up these CBB games so we can spend plenty of time on Monday Night Football. I'm so excited to talk about this Super Bowl rematch, but ladies and gents, we've got some elite CBB games late night tonight. Javon, you want to fade Texas?
Yes.
Why do you want to fade Texas besides the spot?
It's not even the spot. Like, they're just not very good right now, and you can blame injuries or what they're missing, whatever. It's just like they don't have any sort of flow to their offense. Like last year, you could very easily see that Texas like had an identity with them. Like they were a team that was physical on defense. They had shooters on the outside. They still do like this year, but there's not really anything around them. Like there's no consistency to anything that they're running, which is a problem. Everybody's trying to hold Rodney Terry up to this pedestal like he was so great last year. I haven't seen enough this year to like trust this team. So like, especially coming into a spot against a very talented UConn team that's going to press a lot of their shooters, and they're going to, in theory, have to win on the inside to win this game or hang in this game. I don't know if that's a spot that I can trust them in. So I think it's a terrible spot. But there's also a reason that UConn's up to 6.5 now.
Yeah, I would not mind squaring up for Kitch and back in the Huskies, fading Texas, who maybe, I don't want to say the L word last year. I'll say it. Maybe they got a little lucky last year. Maybe Rodney Terry had some magic coins in his pocket during those games. I don't know. But can we expect Rodney Terry to run that back from last season? We see a lot of these new coaches take over and have immediate success. And next thing you know, the next year they stink. Maybe we see that out of Texas this year. I don't know. We find out how good this Longhorns team and how good of a spot this program is in right now against UConn tonight, in my opinion. UConn is a well-oiled machine. They're looking great, ready to bounce back and run back, potential national championship once again. Texas looks like a team who's on the same level, same record. We know they were good last year. I think this is one of those games where you just lay with the better team in UConn, and they're going to have an absolute fucking field day against fraudulent Texas. I'm with you on that. And love that the line has moved up 1.5 points today. I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in.
Man.
All right. Keep moving here. Kentucky comments against St. Joe's. The Hawk will never die.
Hawks probably dying tonight. I think they beat the ever-living
dying.
shit out of St. Joseph's tonight.
Yep. That Hawk might be dying. Okay. You
Yep.
lean the Wildcats.
Yeah, by a good bit.
Okay. Were you impressed with the Wildcats hanging around against Kansas in that last game?
I wasn't
2 games
impressed.
ago.
I wasn't impressed with them hanging in with Kansas. I was, I guess, a little bit impressed of the way they did it because, like, Kansas, the one problem is that, like, they're not going to consistently have scoring, and I will stand on that because it's especially going to come in Big 12 play, but they got 27 from Dickinson, who dominated the paint. You're going to see that in a matchup against Kentucky when they're missing everybody on the inside, but they kind of filled in otherwise. DeJuan Harris didn't miss a shot from the field until like 10 minutes left in the game, which was crazy. But they hang in scoring-wise. The one problem is, like, they got to be more disciplined. Like, Rob Dillingham is kind of getting, like, shackled by Calipari, not letting him play. And then the second he comes in the game, he's super aggressive and picks up 17 fouls. But the scoring filled in, which was impressive against a good Kansas defense. So I was impressed. St. Joseph's has sneakily looked kind of good until their last game too, where they got clamped by Texas A&M Commerce for a majority of that game. Kind of fought back at the
You can't
end.
be losing the Commerce by 20 when you're a 17-point favorite. Nope.
No, it was weird too because I was kind of starting to buy in after their first couple games. I mean, they beat Penn, who I think is very talented from the perimeter. They dominated Stonehill, which doesn't say much, but I was kind of glad to see them do it in convincing fashion. And then I don't know what the hell happened. Texas A&M Commerce. That was just a weird game at home, and now I don't think this is a great spot for them.
Okay. All right. Maybe we see the Wildcats keep their foot on the gas pedal, and they get a big-time win here against the Hawk. But the Hawk will never die, even if they lose today. All right. UMass Lowell versus St. Pate's. Talk about a wagon. UMass Lowell is a fucking wagon. This team last year, out of fucking nowhere, was unbelievable. So much fun to watch, so much fun to bet on. They took my coins because I kept fading them. Yep, they were great. They're up to 5.5 from 4.5, Javon, against St. Pete's. Big name, terrible team. I probably lean Mallow here. That's what the cool kids call it. UMass Lowell, Mallow. I lean Mallow, laying 5.5 here. I believe that's a neutral site game. Yeah, they're going to win this game. They have a big guy who's an absolute stud, and St. Peter's has just slowly gotten worse and worse since Coach left for Seton Hall. So I'm out on the St. Peter's team. They continue to get worse, and UMass Lowell is one of the best new mid-major teams in the country. They were great last season. All right, Howard versus Bryant. That's honestly a pretty good game. Don't let Howard get hot either, Javon. Howard's got some dogs.
Hey, don't let Bryant get hot. You know, a game they're coming off of, right?
Sure. Well, they just pulled off a nice little upset after their coach just quit the team. Are you hip to that?
Biggest upset in college basketball so far this season.
Coach quits, and next thing you know, they beat FAU outright.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yep. That was their last game. If you look over what Howard's been doing, as expected so far this season, I mean, this team could score. They could put up points. Their defense isn't great. They gave up 107 to JMU. They gave up 85 to Rutgers. Jesus. And that was their last game, and they lost by 22 in that contest. Did not cover. I wouldn't mind a little stab here with Howard, fading the fat, happy, and complacent Brian Bulldogs after a big outright win against FAU. Maybe Howard catches him sleeping a little bit, the Bison. Don't let him get hot.
Yeah. Howard's played a little better than, I guess, some of the scores would indicate of those games, because like both the Rutgers game and even the JMU game, which both those games they lost by more than 20, they were in those for a majority of like the first half. Like JMU, I think, started to pull away late in the first half. Rutgers really didn't pull away until the second half started, but they're hanging in pretty tough there. Like they're a more physical team than it looks like on paper and if you watch them. So like against Bryant here, who's going to play a little slower tempo than I guess Howard is really used to seeing outside of like the Rutgers game, I wouldn't be surprised if Howard wins out here with the tempo. And when I look at a 158 total, which is not out of the norm for a Howard game, for a Bryant game, and how they've been succeeding to start the season, it's pretty interesting. Because you look at a lot of Bryant's best games, it's obviously the FAU game where they held them to 52 points. It's the Rutgers game where they covered comfortably and held Rutgers to 66, so 66-57. Even the Manhattan game, game 1, 61-59. So all of their best games, I guess you could say, they're not getting scored on. So to see the total here this high, I was expecting maybe lower 150s. To see damn near 160 is a little surprising. I think you're Cookie. Muted. Potentials. Potential muted. Leave and come back in. Possibly. There we go. Wow, full screen because the share screen on that's crazy. Yeah, Howard is looking nice, and Howard does respect. It does scream up Crabs play. So I'm gonna take a stab at Howard plus 3.5. I just might do it. L muted, both muted, or am I good? Potentials. Yeah, W full screen. J State Farm, man. Crazy. Okay, I'm good. W's. But yeah, I'm definitely I might have to hop on the Howard train, not just for this game.
Full screen Javon.
Yeah, full screen me.
All right. W's, you can hear me. Good. You're responding, and we're back.
Yeah, you're good.
Seth Towns, kid, I was trying to tell you about. I don't know if you saw what's going on with him, but this is his 7th season in college basketball. He just got cleared his eligibility. Transfer coming over from Ohio State, really didn't play too much. Actually started his career at Harvard, very smart kid. And he's been around literally since 2016, Chad. Was his first college basketball season. Pretty crazy to see this kid still playing, but could be the piece, could be the weapon down the stretch that they need. He's averaging 12 points a game this season since he's been cleared. Could be the difference here for the Bison. Seth Towns has plenty of experience. We know that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Give me the points. They catch Bryant sleeping, spread down from 5 to 3.5. That could be a nice little crab spot right here.
A crabby spot right there.
Starting to like Howard there in the Bison. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. And Javon, stop me if there's games you want to bet or talk about. All right. We can take Sam Houston today. You want to fade them out of spite?
I feel like you have to back them today. First day with the jersey on stream.
Sure. Yeah, Chad, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a fucking men's league bowling jersey or men's league softball jersey, it's because I lost a bet. All right. Don't ask any more kids. Bethune-Cookman plays today. Sure. They're a favorite.
There you go.
Look at that. Do not let Bethune get hot. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Yeah. Go back up, maybe. All the 7 o'clocks? No, I think it's 7 o'clocks potentials. I don't know if I saw it up there. Maybe it's just not on the board here.
What game you trying to talk about, bro?
There's 2. Oak State, New Orleans, and Stonehill Commerce. That are both wait, I guess it's 8 for you. Can't do math. So go down to 8 o'clocks. Oh,
you mean these 2 games right here?
Those 2 right there.
Okay.
Holy shit. Stonehill's down to 7.5, dude.
Whoa.
You're at 9.5 this morning.
Whoa.
I got in at 8.5. So I guess we'll talk about that game first. That's a weird one because Stonehill is, I mean, both these teams are atrocious, but Commerce had, really good win. Seems to be a theme of the Southland this season, going on the road and getting these really weird, strangely good wins. And they just beat St. Joe's in a low scoring game where they dominated most of the game, truthfully, and they didn't score. They scored 10 minutes or 10 points in the last 10 minutes and still won the game somehow. But now they're at home, which last year, anytime there was a big spread in a home Texas A&M Commerce game, which wasn't all that often, I would take the dog, partially just because they play a lot of close games. It's always super random. But now Stonehill's coming in after they've been getting beat up by a couple of significantly better teams. Like Kentucky hung 101 on them. St. Joe's hung 100 on them and beat them by damn near 50. UConn, same thing. So now they're coming here against Commerce, an offense that I don't really trust. And Stonehill, they run this little zone, which is going to be confusing, I think, for Texas A&M Commerce, a team that can't really shoot and they can't get to the free throw line or make free throws. They're one of the worst teams in college basketball doing that. So I think this is a really weird spot where I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of madness, which Commerce, even when they play shitty games, they play a lot of overtime games last season and a lot of super close ones. So I could see this one potentially going to overtime, and maybe Stonehill wins this one outright. But I took the points to them. I got 8.5, but I don't really think it's going to matter with the spread being this large.
Okay. Stonehill, a team that got brought up to D1 last season, had some pretty good success actually in their first year in D1, like a couple of these other squads do. And people forget they got a kid on their team, Thatcher Stone. Imagine being on the Stonehill team, your last name's Stone. I think that's just meant to be.
That might be everything you need.
I love to see it. They got some transfers coming in this year. They got some new talent. They got some new baits. I like the spot for Stonehill. I like that they just played a really good Kentucky team. I love that Commerce just beat St. Joe's outright like we've talked about today. I'm in. Spread keeps coming down. Stonehill can shoot a little bit. They've been playing like rat meat recently, but I think Stonehill could definitely bounce back here and at least keep this one within 5. That's all they're going to do. That's all we're asking.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It is funny, too, the common opponent there. Commerce just beat St. Joe's outright on the road, and Stonehill lost to them 100-56. So, not that means everything, obviously, in terms of the spread, but that was literally last week for both of these teams. And seeing 9.5 down to 7.5, I guess that plays right into the what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, it means something. And hate to see Jordan Travis hanging him up. That is fucking brutal.
Sucked.
That's brutal. Yeah. And it sucks because the committee will penalize that team for not having a good QB, and they'll want to put somebody else in there now. That could make it weird if they stay undefeated somehow, some way. That could throw in a wrench into it because they're going to get people bitching saying, well, just because their QB got hurt and they stayed undefeated, now you're going to punish them. What the fuck else are they going to do? What's that going to teach these kids? Very curious to see how this Florida State situation plays out.
I will say
very curious.
I was initially in the headspace that they would have had back-to-back games here that are going to be a little challenging, but they got bailed because now Graham Mertz is also not going to play for Florida in the swamp next week, which sucks. But they still have, that Louisville game in the ACC championship is going to get interesting.
Yeah, that could be an out. That'll be the one game Louisville loses finally.
I know. Yeah, it would have been crazy.
All right, W's.
Don't move past Oklahoma State yet.
Whoa.
That's like
whoa.
That's a number that I don't think anybody would want to lay with Oklahoma State against anybody right now. And I think this is the spot to do it because, Oklahoma State, they're the dog shit team. They just came on that little neutral site tournament they went 0-2. I think they were a short favorite against the Bonnies in game 1, but they were 7.5-point favorites against Notre Dame and lost outright in that game too in overtime. So they're just not a good ball club. But the one thing you can't deny about Oklahoma State is defensively, they're going to be good, and they have been very good. And New Orleans, a lot of these Southland teams, like a New Orleans, like a Commerce, like a Corpus Christi, anytime they go up against teams that have a significant size advantage and play really good defense, and it definitely helps that this game is going to be at home for Oklahoma State and Galler-Iba, that's a tough spot. It's I don't know how much New Orleans is going to score in this game. The only reason they're going to put up points, I think, is because they're going to push the pace themselves and get into a higher paced game, which I think for them is going to be very sloppy against this Oklahoma State defense. So a lot of turnovers. I think this is easily a 15 to 20 turnover game for New Orleans, and Oklahoma State, which they struggle to score in the half court. You're going to get transition buckets because they're going to force turnovers, and it's going to be a tough go for them. So this number is steady rising now that we see a 14. And with as terrible as Oklahoma State looks, I know it's not a great team, obviously, in New Orleans, but I think that's definitely telling you something, and it makes sense.
There's only one thing that matters in this game, Javon. It's that they're playing in Stillwater. Only thing that matters. This Oklahoma State team, when they're playing at home, they're okay. They are. I don't know what it is.
They're better. They did lose against Abilene in the first game of their season outright. Then
they're due at home this season too, because that's not something that typically happens. Usually the squad is unbelievable. Yeah. Playing at home, pulling off upsets left and right, doing their job. Has not been that start this year. That makes me like OK State even more today. Sure
does.
Lay it with the Cowboys. Fade New Orleans. Shocked to see you fading your boys down there, but maybe they are just that bad this season. Okay, sure. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about Oregon and Florida A&M.
Lord. What are we doing?
And there's the play on that one. Okay. What about West Virginia and SMU? You like following the Mustangs a little bit here. We talked about it briefly for a second, Javon. They don't have a big man down there at SMU, do they? That could be some trouble.
Yeah, not exactly. That could be a bit of an issue. I do think their defense as a whole is relatively solid. It's just a lot of it comes from, the stretch guys. But down there, Kip Ambrose is not holding anything that Jesse Edwards is going to throw at them. And then you're going to have to switch, Williamson on him. It's just Jesse Edwards is going to feast down there. My problem with this game is I don't know anybody else for West Virginia who I can really trust. So, I still kind of lean SMU in this game in a pretty super weird spot here, but I don't think West Virginia is going to come through any shortage of Jesse Edwards production. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game?
Dude, SMU might not have a kid above 6'9" enter this game tonight.
Yeah.
And I know we've gone with that angle before. I even took Purdue laying 15 earlier this season in a spot against Xavier where he should be feasting against guys who are 6'8", and Purdue still did not cover that game. So just because the guy's big doesn't mean that they're going to fucking cover this game. But I don't know if I want to go anywhere near SMU in this spot. I'll tell you that much at least. It's going to be a stay away spot, I'm assuming, for me. But if I had to bet it, I'd be leaning Dub V here probably, even with that line move.
Yeah, that's fair. I just like my problem with this is SMU because like I'm looking at how West Virginia's done in some of the games where like Edwards has feasted, had pretty significant double, and I'm looking at the rest of the slate for West Virginia, which again it's not 100% their fault. They're missing a couple of guys, but Edwards, I'm just looking at the game against Monmouth, for example. He had 16 and 13, pretty big force in that game. But then I look at the rest of the guards, 1 for 12, 1 of 8 from 3, 3 for 11, 2 for 8 from 3, 6 for 16, 3 of 7 from 3. And this is against Monmouth. So now against a pretty decent perimeter defense for SMU, I don't know if I can trust that, especially because the way you got to beat them is off the bounce. And like Texas A&M, who is a much better team, can do a good job of that. I don't know if West Virginia is going to be able to do that. So I'll take Jesse Edwards everything, but I cannot take West Virginia in this game.
Okay. That's fair. Any late night geysers? Don't sleep on the midshipmen playing over there in San Diego tonight, Javon. This team has not won or covered a game. Actually, maybe they've won a game. Have they won a game yet? Nope. They have not won or covered a game so far this season. They're playing against San Diego tonight. San Diego. I think this is one of the few non-neutral site games tonight. Javon, San Diego, probably the biggest Navy military base where students go post-college. So these Navy midshipmen are going to be pulling up thinking, we own this place. Let's teach these kids who's boss right now on the road, and let's get our first win and hell. Let's get our first cover of the season because this Navy team has gotten their dicks kicked in, night out to start the season. But we know this team has been one of the better squads in their conference in recent years. I know they're rebuilding. They don't have that stud point guard anymore, but they still have specs in the paint. They have a big body presence in the paint. And this San Diego team, I know I tried to target them, fading them against Jackson State earlier this year, and they had a career game, 87 points. You won't see that squad score 87 points again this season, okay? And for some reason, the spread has come down from 8 to 6.5 in this spot, Javon, against 3-1 San Diego. And Navy hasn't even sniffed a cover or win so far this season. The midshipmen going to their second home, a very familiar place out there in San Diego. They're going to want to beat the motherfucking crap out of those boys who do not go to a military school. They want to run and show them boys they own San Diego, which Navy does. I'll tip my cap. Yeah. They do own that place. They run that town out there. So Navy, this one could be personal for them. And maybe a little bit of a narrative angle you guys could back going out there to San Diego to get their first cover/win. Okay. You got to play. You fade Mississippi Valley State against Santa Clara?
Yep. I do literally the entire non-con.
You're just going to fade them every game? I'm going to need to recap that.
Yeah, I fade them every game of like anybody. It's kind of a gray area, but anybody I consider like a quality opponent. So like we're still like, I don't know, 3-2, I guess this year.
Well, so, Santa Clara has Mount St. Mary's legend on their team this season. I'm blanking on his name. Jalen Benjamin, from last year. Yeah, he's a stud. He's on Santa Clara. So yeah, lay out against Mississippi Valley. Jalen Benjamin's about to drop a 30 pace. Sure.
Always.
All right, one more real game, and then we're going to go to NFL, guys. UCLA or Marquette, Javon. Thoughts on this spread?
It's interesting because, like, I would love to take Marquette in this game because I think their offense, I guess, matches up a little better, especially with, like, what Kolek is going to do to facilitate against, like, a really good defense. They're not the defense that we saw last season necessarily because they're missing, I guess, what you would call the main part of that. But it's an offense that I think can have some success. The one part that I think is a real sore spot for them is, like, if they're not hitting shots, they're not getting a single rebound, because they're ridiculously small on the inside. So, like, Bona, I think, is the one that's up on Prize Picks. I would love to target his rebounds, and really anybody in that game on the inside for UCLA is going to have the advantage. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a sleepier game where even if Marquette's offense generates open looks and they're not hitting them, UCLA can't shoot the ball too well. So I wouldn't mind this under in this game. I'm not really sure what to do sidewise here. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of tired of fading Marquette. I'll be honest with you. This fucking team just keeps winning, but got in my head, I've been leaning more physical UCLA team with the points. I just hate the way the line's moving and grooving. And I hate fading Marquette because they are extremely well coached and well run, and they don't make mistakes, and they win and they cover. and I'm tired of fading that team.
Yeah.
Gun to my head, I take UCLA though. All right. Let's pivot. Let's talk about, unless you got a 12:30 p.m., 1 a.m. Eastern game. People forget, guys, there's a 1 a.m. Eastern game, Cal versus UTEP late night. UTEP is a
Holy
favorite
shit.
against Cal.
Should
Might be
Cal
worth targeting the minors.
sucks.
They do suck.
Cal's
They do.
horrendous.
They are, but I'd still fade them today. I would.
I think that line's a little short, to be honest with you.
Wow, you do.
I mean, that team just lost outright as 14-point favorites to Montana State 2 games after losing as the same line favorites by like 10 to Pacific. They suck. And UTEP's been actually like surprisingly solid to start the season.
They have. I think they keep staying solid and they get a win there in that spot. But
Yeah.
definitely a short spread. If you take the names off the back in front of the jerseys, maybe I agree with you. But in betting, you can't. So you're going to see squares back in Cal in that spot no matter what.
Yeah.
David Martinez's burner, Hate Crab, just your daily reminder, the R words had Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay, McDaniels, and Slowick, who I don't know who that is, on their coaching staff in 2013. Yeah, we also had Dusty Baker as our head coach, and now we're stuck with you. So, 2 else. David Martinez's burner. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Eagles. Javon, Super Bowl rematch. People forget me and Trent were at this game last year. It was fucking nuts. I got to watch Trent get his hopes up and also sing along to a Rihanna concert very loudly and then get his hopes crushed in the second half with a great second half from Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to get another ring against the Eagles. I think you're going to see a similar outcome today. You're going to see everybody and their mother back in the Eagles saying, oh, revenge spot here. Oh, Jalen Hurts, the greatest QB I've ever seen in my fucking life. Have you guys watched him play this season? He stinks. He's not even good this year. Or at least he hasn't been so far. He's been hindered by an injury. I want to fade the heck out of the Eagles in this spot because the public narrative here is to back the Eagles to bounce back after that Super Bowl L last year, and everybody fucking loves the Philadelphia Eagles this season. Last season, I loved the Eagles when they overperformed and they were not as trendy and, they were on their way up. I feel like teams after an offseason of prep have figured out how to slow down Hurts at least minimally. I feel like the Eagles defense has taken a step back and I feel like Jalen Hurts is hurt. Now, maybe coming off of a bye week here, and I believe both teams are coming off a bye week here, which is huge because Andy Reid doesn't lose coming off a bye week. But we know the Eagles have a great coaching staff too, and I'm sure that's going to help benefit them as well tonight. That sucks, but I love backing Andy Reid off the bye, and I love seeing this total creep down. I think this Chiefs defense is still extremely underrated and undervalued. I think they have one of the better secondaries in football with a bunch of no-names, and nobody cares or talks about it because they have a bunch of no-names, but they've given up the top 5 least amount of yards through the air this season so far. Do not sleep on the secondary. They have stepped up this season, and they have carried this offense at times when Mahomes has struggled. But now it's time for Mahomes to get hot. It's time for him to carry his weight. And he looked better in that last game. I think he carries that confidence. And I think a matchup against the Eagles, the team who everyone in the fucking public thinks is better than the Chiefs this season, is exactly what the GOAT needs to get him going and keep that momentum rolling after a good game last week or 2 weeks ago in his last contest. Now he gets a bye week to prep for this moose shit Eagles defense that everyone thinks is good for some reason because they haven't actually fucking watched the Eagles play this year. They just look at their record, they check the stats, and that's all they care about. Guys, open your fucking eyeballs. The Eagles have taken a step back this season, and the Chiefs are starting to get hot. They're getting a big-time win at home when everybody's fading them for no fucking reason other than Jalen Hurts being cool. Yeah, I'll take Patrick Mahomes and the $500 million man at home in this spot to get a fucking big-time win and shut up all the Eagles slurpers. Philly stinks, and the Chiefs are going to put them in their spot tonight.
That was a classic Krabs rant right there. Might have to put that one in the hall. Might have to put it in the hall.
Fuck the Eagles. Can I get some fuck the Eagles in chat? I know I got some Manders fans in here. Shit. Cowboys, Giants fans, come aboard. All right. Can we get some fuck the Eagles in chat real quick? I cannot stand this team or their fans. They are the worst. Javon, thoughts on this game? I think I've given mine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Eagles as much as probably you do, but I can't say they're my favorite team either.
I'm sorry. I want to let you rant and I want to shut up. But how the fuck do you hear me say 100 things with actual reasoning, spots, football-wise, schedule, buys, and you say something dumb like this, no wonder why the fucking U.S. debt is at $30 trillion and people get stupider every year. Keep moving, Javon. Tell me about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Chiefs too. I'm with you. I'm not going to argue it's sharp or everybody's on one side or whatever. It's pretty split in this game, but I do like the Chiefs. Both teams are coming off a bye. Obviously, Andy Reid off a bye has been extremely profitable. But the one thing defensively that I think they're going to have a significant edge in game planning against is the Eagles and their defense. Like the secondary has been an issue. You talked about how many passing yards they're giving up in comparison to the rest of the league, which is a serious concern, and people don't realize that or want to because the Eagles, they're winning games. It's cool. But the reason why they're getting picked apart, in the air like they are is because their pass rush has not been very good, which is another thing that people really don't realize because you see the numbers and it kind of averages itself out because they have these really big games where like against the Dolphins, they're fantastic. Against the Commanders, I guess they look good, even though Sam Howell picked them apart both times, really. But when they're given time, or the opposing quarterback is given time, which Dak was given plenty of time in that game, he picked them apart. Even Zach Wilson, which he didn't really have to do much in that game, but he was given plenty of time with the Jets. Matthew Stafford was given no time, which is why he struggled in that game too, back when they beat them on the road in SoFi. So if you look at the numbers, like the pass rush hasn't been that impressive. And that's the thing that I trust the Eagles to, A, have the edge in, and then B, game plan against coming off of a bye week. So I think when you look at the Chiefs kind of skill position guys, all the wide receivers, everybody except Kelsey kind of gives you a little bit of hesitation. Maybe you could throw Rashee Rice and one of those that you feel pretty confident in. I can trust you, or I can trust Andy Reid to game plan, to get the ball out of Mahomes' hands to where he's getting those guys in a lot of more rack positions instead of having him kind of throw the ball down the field nearly as much, which I think it's going to kind of start like that. And then he opens up the downfield passing game more so in the second half. So I think overall, if we're talking about teams off of a bye and whose game plan can have an advantage over the other, I got to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, I'm in. You don't got to sell me. And Fruity, did you go to Cathedral High School? I didn't know that. You're telling me Fruity went to high school with Terry McLaurin, and he's telling me that for the first time right now. Okay. That's crazy. Also, Terry McLaurin also dealing with another sneak injury right now because he was on the field for about 30% of the time in the last couple drives. What the fuck?
Yeah, sneak.
I had one tweet. I didn't put a ton of tweets in the outline today. I had one fucking tweet that I wanted to show you guys. Instead of doing a steamed crabs, I just wanted to show you and then just leave it up there. Maybe I'll just do it right now before we do the squad ride. Yeah, here we go. I'll just leave this up here. I'm not even going to say anything. Javon, you want to read this off real quick?
Do you know how hard it is to rack up 9 sacks and lose by double digits? It's been 39 years since the team did that, and lo and behold, the Washington Commanders pulled it off yesterday. That is impressive. Impressive. You're like the anti-Steelers in that game.
Just a moose shit organization is what that is. I mean, Danny DeVito running around slinging jersey-like subs and throwing touchdowns. I fucking bet.
Sure.
I fucking bet.
It's unreal.
Okay.
Unreal.
It is time for the squad ride. It is time for me to shut up.
Yeah, before we get to the squad ride, let me give my quick ice pitch because those are my best bets.
Please.
It's not one that you would love because it's a pretty square play. It might be aside from fading the Sharks, one of the squarest play on the board.
I hate it already, but continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bruins ML on the road against the Lightning, which it's starting to climb up, I guess, price wise, but it seems at first look a little short because the Bruins have been dominant, but all their games look short. And I will not stop fading them in those spots, but I don't think this is one of them because the Lightning, the way that they've been winning these last couple games, which they're good, they had like this miraculous comeback against the Oilers on Saturday at home. They win these games just by mucking it up and just by causing absolute chaos. And I would say out of the teams in the league, one of those that I would probably not like to play when I need to cause chaos to win is probably the Boston Bruins. So I think this is going to be not a sweat-free like beat down by the Bruins. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like the Lightning score first and then the Bruins just grind their way grit and tooth to the rest of the game and win it like 3-2 in a super close game. But on the road, I think their defense is going to cause problems for the Lightning. So I am taking the Bruins. I don't care how square it is today. I'll live with it.
All right. And then you said you had another sneak play in your back pocket. What is it?
I don't have no sneak play. That was it.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. W's. All right. Yeah, Tommy DeVito, I know he lives with his parents, and he still beat Sam Howell, and he still beat Ron Rivera. I know, chat. I was at the fucking game. I watched it happen right in front of my eyeballs. It sucked. There was another chat I actually wanted to pull up that was good, but now I can't find it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Imagine chirping the Eagles and you're a Commanders fan, SMH crabs, I bet. Imagine living in Philadelphia, calling that your home. I bet. All right, Javon, let's get this damn squad ride poll moving and grooving. Why not us? What do you like? What do you love today?
I do really like the Bruins. I know you hate it. I know you hate it.
Already typed them. They're in.
Put them in.
Trust. You're giving a hockey play. I'm listening. I'm typing it down.
That's fair. That's fair.
Chiefs?
I would like to keep that game out of the squad ride. I'm not going to lie.
Would you know?
I feel like we're divided just as an overall BTL community on this game.
You mean me and you?
No, not me and you. I mean, we're on the relative same side, but I feel like nobody can agree on this game, and I'm perfectly fine with leaving it out and putting my own bet on the game, but just watching it. Because it's going to be
right. You can tell me why you actually want to leave it out when we get off stream, but I will pivot to some college basketball. Okay? Yeah, chat. Javon must have saw some mush on the fucking Chiefs, and he's not letting me put it in. Usually how these combos go, I can take a hint. We will move along and go about our day. I think we put in Navy plus 6.5.
I could be down to put Navy in. I'm down with that. I like that spot.
What other CBB plays, my man? Howard, the Bison.
Howard, yeah. What time's that game at?
I think it's a late geyser.
Yeah, that's a primetime guy right there.
Some are saying that's actually the primetime college basketball game of the day tonight. Howard Brown.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm down to take the Bison. Chat, do not let the Bison get hot. Do not let 7th year super senior Seth, whatever his name is, get hot on Howard.
Seth Towns, the GOAT.
Seth Towns. Do not let him get hot. He might be Karl Anthony Towns' brother. He could be. He's going to play like it tonight. All right.
Just might.
Give me another play. We got Howard, Navy, Boston. Isn't there a CBB wagon that you love that I'm forgetting about?
CBB wagon? Did we talk about a wagon?
No, I thought there was a college. Oh, Stonehill.
Yeah, I like Stonehill. I would throw FSU into the ring, but I mean, that starts in like 3 hours. I don't know if we wanted to go that early.
When is it?
4 Central.
5:30 Eastern. I'm down to put that in.
It's not that early. Yeah, I'd be down.
Are you taking the spread?
Yeah.
Okay. FSU -3. Sure. Chat. 5 plays, 5 winners. You have 1 minute to get your bets in. Hurry the heck up. Go. Get your plays in. Go. Get them in. Go. There's no time, chat. Hurry the fuck up. We need your votes in the next minute. Okay. W's. While this loads, Javon, I need to let the people know something. I'm doing something today that I didn't think I'd be doing ever again. Javon, that's taking Travis Kelce more than his receiving yards tonight. I'm seeing that thing get bumped left and right like no other. It's gotten bumped a couple times up. He has not had the best last couple weeks, but luckily for Travis Kelce, he's going against sneakily one of the worst defenses covering tight ends in the NFL, and that's the Eagles. Travis Kelce might not get a touchdown today because they had that stupid brotherly shove square up combo touchdown that's probably not going to smack, but he surely will be getting his receiving yards, chat. So while you lock in the squad ride and get your votes in because we have 10 seconds, hurry up, go, and it's going to be Boston ML on the ice, as it should be probably with how the hockey plays have gone. Do not let Travis Kelce receiving yards get swept under the rug, chat. That's all I ask. Javon, you probably didn't expect that from me today, did you?
No, not at all. When you started going on that little segue, I thought you were going to say you're doing the 10-10-10 challenge again.
No, I will never be doing that again. That is.
I kind of figured.
We're going to go ahead and pack up shop for the 10-10-10 challenge. That is done. Chat, we're going with the Boston Bruins on the ML tonight. That should be a good look, but we got to trust Javon on the ice. I have a feeling that could end up being a pretty sharp play at the end of the day. And don't let the Chiefs get swept under the rug or that Kelsey Moore the receiving yards, chat. All right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hopefully we get Goots back. We'll be seeing. All right, boys. Stick around for the third stream, and make sure you guys follow Javon